The story about this guy who woke up with his blood all over his house and his neighbors are missing and he thinks he ate his neighbors. And I'm like, ride that fucking snake to Valhalla!
Is a juggalo, he lived in the car. He worked very hard to pay his tab off at the bar. Panda is a juggalo, he's not like all the rest. He will drink all the Four Loko and talk to Phil when he's on net. Panda is a juggalo, juggalo, juggalo. Panda is a juggalo, juggalo, juggalo. Panda is a juggalo, juggalo, juggalo.
Mic check 1 2.
Yeah, that's
Oh
it.
wow.
I'm from New Jersey. You know, I like the city, New York City, then I moved to Kansas City. I'm like, somehow, I bump into these fucking juggalos in Florida. They're everywhere, and I just didn't get it. Like, there's some band that plays music, Insane Clown Posse, a couple people like them, whatever. I didn't know there was this entire fucking world out there. And somehow, my sponsor, my best friend, they happen to be juggalos. Juggalos pop up in everything I do. And I never wanted a part of it. I didn't know it existed. When I did, I didn't want a part of it. So how important is that juggalo lifestyle to you? And like explain some of it that's so attractive to being a juggalo.
Okay, so the thing about being a juggalo to me was, when I was a kid and when I was finally introduced to it, I was kind of like I'm the weirdo, you know. I have a weird way of thinking. I don't really fit in anywhere except for the people that get me, and those were the juggalos. Like, it kind of was like the outcast. And then I finally go to this show, which is an ABK show, and I'm just a kid, bro. And there's these people that are all around, and they're all in the parking lot early as fuck in the morning. And everybody's laughing and everybody's having a fucking great time. And like, they're like, who are these kids, man? And they were like, oh, these kids are fucking cool as shit. So it gave me like a camaraderie in the beginning. But then as I continued to listen to the music and I started picking up on little nuggets of freshness that they would drop in their songs and shit, it really taught me how to be a good person, which is weird because it's like, I will treat what it taught me was treat somebody like family until they give you a reason not to. Don't be a piece of shit. And the only people that we don't discriminate, we don't judge. The only people that we fucking don't fuck with are pedophiles, racists, bigots, and just all
The
around.
normal pieces of shit.
Normal pieces of shit. It's all about being a better person. And it literally is like a gang of people that found family in each other. Like, we go all year long, you know, just living our lives by ourselves, you know what I'm saying, being like these weird way of thinking, don't fit in anywhere, and then finally we meet each other at like concerts and shit like that, and it gives us a reason to meet up with each other. People do barbecues and mini gatherings, and it gave us a sense of belonging and a sense of family that some people never had. Some people that grew up without families, and people that were just looked at as like the carnival freaks, you know? That's where I found my home, man. And it literally raised me to be the dude that I am today. And I can thank Joe and Joey from Insane Clown Posse for that. And among other artists. But just something about it appealed to me. And the music would make me laugh my ass off. Fucking, it was hilarious. I understood it. Some of it would scare me. Some of it would have me dying laughing. It was great. And I have this weird infatuation with horror movies and shit like that. Like, fucking House of a Thousand Corpses was my shit. Yes. So, you know, shit like that. And it's just all music related, and I can't live without music. So, like, if it gives me something, it's an escape from reality. All these rappers nowadays that want to be real and they want to rap about what the fuck is what it really are. Fuck that. Why do we have to be real all the time? Why can't we escape reality and join this funny circus that is the Dark Carnival? And it just gave me something to look forward to every year. Gave me something to listen to. It's a soundtrack to my life, and then it gave me a lot of people that I can stick around and continue and say that they're my brothers. And then moving to Florida, I run into a bunch of juggalos, go figure, in recovery.
Out of all the juggalos I know, you're probably the most insane. So, why don't you tell me what life was like for a young Panda? Where are you from, and how did this all start?
So I'm from Atlanta originally, or Decatur. I was born in Decatur, Georgia. I'm from a long line of alcoholics.
Carried on the family tradition.
And then some. My whole family is a bunch of alcoholics and drug addicts. I was raised by my grandparents because my mom was only 15 when she had me, or 16 when she had me. My grandparents split. I moved in with my grandfather, and then my grandfather, he was a big alcoholic. So when I was like 11 or 12, I used to fucking steal his alcohol from him, and I would get off of school I get home from school, fill my little water bottle up with his vodka, and I would take it to my room because I was always grounded because I'm a fucking degenerate. Even as a child, I had like 16s on my report cards. I was not doing shit in school. I was just sleeping in school and fucking smoking weed. And I'd get home, go to my room with my little vodka water bottle. I had my friends that would bring me like weed and shit to the window. I spent most of them younger teenage years stuck in my room. It wasn't until I moved out that I started really. When I was like 15, 16, I had this beard that I had, so I was able to walk into a gas station in my hometown and buy as much alcohol as I wanted.
Because you looked older.
I looked older, and I walked in with my buddy that was like 24, and they knew him personally, so that was like my in. They're like, okay, this guy's old enough. So I was buying alcohol from them every day, and I was buying alcohol for everybody that was my age. It was just the thing I did, man. Me and my friends, we drank competitively. We made it like a sport. I moved in with my buddy Brad, and at his mom's house, we had like house rules and shit. Like I can't say "Hey Leroy," or else I'd have to take a drink. You can't say no name drops. Shit. One time I went into the Party City and got one of those fake mustaches, and we slapped it on the TV. And I'm like, okay, so every single time that this mustache lines up with the face, you got to take a drink. And we watched Pirates of the Caribbean, and there's so many moving parts in that movie. Fucking, it just kept lining up people's faces. We're like, fuck! So we just kept drinking. I became a professional beer pong player. Man, with me and my buddy EJ, we had these rules where it was like you could only do trick shots. So we became really good at doing trick shots. Me and my buddy Jade, we went, played at this festival, and we were killing people. It was great. But it wasn't until I realized that I was like 18. It was my 18th birthday party. I'm at my buddy Brad's house. We got a bottle of Jaeger. And his mom, she got really drunk, and her name was Raina. We called her Raging Raina. So she got really pissed off, and she put the music on really loud, and it was gospel music about Jesus and shit. She starts preaching to us, and she's like yelling, screaming at us about it.
Like she's possessed with the Lord.
Like she's possessed with the Lord. And she goes, and I haven't eaten anything, and my buddy Jake hasn't eaten anything, and she goes, God, if you're here, touch these boys. And then right when she said that, my buddy Jake starts vomiting, and it's coming out as Jaeger, so it's like this black liquid, and she thinks that he's puking the devil up. I'm fucking sitting there, he's puking, I'm puking black licorice fucking Jaeger. And the rest of my fucking birthday party was us sitting in a circle, holding hands, praying, and everybody smoking weed and passing it around the prayer circle. But we did that shit all night long, man. People just kept showing up to the party, walking in like, what the fuck is going on here? We're just praying, bro.
With the puke all over the place, too.
Oh, dude. It was pretty bad. In that same house, this is when we did the beer obstacle course. It was like you spin around on the bat 20 times on your head. You jump over the couch, and then you have a funnel waiting for you. And then you do the funnel, you go over through the little ladders or whatever, and you have a shotgun waiting for you. And then we had a chair, a cooler, and a chair. You jump from the chair to the cooler to the chair, then you got another shotgun waiting for you. And then we had an A-frame ladder that you fucking climb up, and you have to sit on top of this fucking A-frame ladder to stop your time.
So it was like a non-stop frat house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody was going to school. Everyone's just there to get fucked up.
Pretty much. The fun thing, fucking Phil. That's what I called him. Every time I started talking about Phil's here, everybody, my friends are like, oh, Phil's back.
But you had a name for your
I had a name for my shadow person. Yeah, his name was Phil. It was funny, when I went to my first treatment center, one of the techs' name was Phil. And I'm like, you motherfucker!
You've been here all along!
Yeah. And I gave him hell every day.
Where was that treatment center at?
It was in called Penfield. It was in Georgia.
Oh, so you started going to treatment places when you were up there?
My family, I was at work one day, and I had been up for I don't know how many days. I hadn't eaten, and I was trimming this bush, and I went up with the trimmer, and I fell down, and I blacked, and I just passed out. And it wasn't until I woke up from that I was like, maybe I got a problem. So I called my grandmother and I was like, I want to go to rehab. Well, I didn't have insurance, so my family, as a unit, chipped in money to get to pay cash for me to go to rehab. So I went to this Christian rehab in Georgia, out in the middle of nowhere. You know, that's when I was introduced to the rooms of AA and NA and all that stuff. I
Still had some running left in you.
Bro, I lasted like 2 days. I mean, off of meth, the second that I got out of rehab, I already told my girl, hey, man, I need a 6-pack of Bud Ice and I need some weed. And then I went to like CR, Celebrate Recovery. I'm stoned and drunk, but I'm not on meth. And I'm like,
this is better than before. I'm not on meth.
I'm not on meth, yeah. And then I'm literally laying in bed, and the people in the room next to us, I could hear that they were up at like 4 a.m. They were in there banging on shit. And I'm like, these motherfuckers got that shit. So I walk over there, and I'm like, hey, you know, I caught you. Let me get some. All that money that my family put up was wasted. Because, I mean, the most that I had been clean for a minute was only like a month. And then, bam, back on meth. Well, like, I got some weight put back on me, and then I lost it again.
You know, a lot of people go to rehab or detox the first time, and it doesn't work. It happens all the time. I know I went to an IOP. That was the only place I went, and I know my mom did the same thing. She paid for it because I didn't have insurance, and it was just to sit there in meetings and take Suboxone. But it introduced me to AA and NA. But I wasn't fucking ready. That was 2007. There was a whole lot of more drugs to do since then. So I understand how it doesn't work. What happened? How long were you running after your first detox before you landed in the next one?
23, 24, 25, 26, 4 years?
It's not bad.
Well, like, alcohol always brought me back to meth. So, like, I always wanted to keep drinking. But it wasn't until, like I said before, I was always the competitive drinker that could drink anybody under the table. And then eventually everybody grew up, had kids, and I'm still stuck being a drunk piece of shit, sleeping at bars, getting tabs run up at gas stations, liquor stores, and bars, running it through the week, and then having to pay my paycheck every week in order to get by. I moved in with my buddy at his parents left this house, which was like a roach motel full of roaches, and I lived there for like a month until this girl that was like his girl at the time for a second. She went off on the landlord, and the landlord was like, "You can get the fuck out then." So we move into my car. And
what kind of car was it?
It was a 2007 Honda Accord.
So it was a small car.
Small car, 3 people, all of our bags, living in this car. I'm the only one working. I'm panhandling. They're not doing shit. All they're doing is my meth. They just kept using all my meth, and then I had to keep getting more and more. So, and they're constantly yelling at each other. I'm living in this car with 2 people that are just screaming at each other high on meth, and they won't stop arguing, and I just want to shake them.
So, I was going to ask where did everybody sleep, but if you're in a car doing meth, no one's probably sleeping that much.
I slept in the back seat.
And what they do, stay up in the front?
Yeah. Oh, my God. I had to go to work, so, I mean, I got really good at sleeping on that shit. I mean, once I hit the needle, man, it was over. Once I started shooting up, it was over. Like, I would hit a 20 rock, and then I would fucking sweat for 20 minutes, and then I'd be ready for another one. Man, I'd sit there and write these weird songs in different notebooks, and I would write this evil shit out on paper. And then my friends were like, dude, you got mental problems. Like, I wrote a song called I Think I Ate My Neighbors. High as fuck. And then I was like halfway asleep doing it. I'm like literally like almost nodding out, just typing on a computer. And my friends are sitting there watching it. And I didn't even push the space bar. So like when I woke up the next day.
Long sentence.
Yeah, when I woke up the next day, I had to go and I had to put the space bars in between each word. And it was like, holy shit, I wrote a song last night. And it was like a 7-minute long song. And I'm like, oh shit, this whole song is about the story about this guy who woke up with his blood all over his house. And his neighbors are missing. And he thinks he ate his neighbors. And I'm like, that meth is an evil motherfucker. Meth stands for main entrance to hell. That is an evil drug. And then makes people animals, man. Mm-hmm. Animalistic mindset that you live on when you're on that shit. Especially when you're shooting up.
I used to do Adderall a lot. Same type of crazy shit happens. You stay up. I get very creative. I get a lot of shit done when I'm on Adderall. Shit, I could get so much work done about sobriety if I had some Adderall in me. It's kind of ironic.
I would have 9 or 10 projects going at the same time, and nothing's getting done. I was at work one day with my fucking blower on my back, and I'm walking in place, and my fucking boss is like, "You're not blowing anything. You're literally doing nothing and a whole lot at the same time. You're running in place with the blower on your back." And I'm like, "I'm working hard. And I'm sweating."
I can't. I like the Adderall, but that's so much above and so much stronger and so much.
I was prescribed Adderall as a kid.
Yeah, I got prescribed it because I was in line with the doctor, but it was awesome. Yeah, as a kid, when you took it, you probably calmed down, though, right?
Yeah. But as an adult, you do meth.
So you're living in this awesome mansion. Was 2007 Honda?
Yeah.
So you're in the mansion. You got these 2 roommates. You also have lots of pets, right? They're
roaches. Yeah.
So what happened after continue from life at the mansion?
The Honda Accord estate. I was living in my car, man, and I had these two people that had a hotel room, and they were like, I needed to sleep, and I needed a bed to lay in, so they were like, you could stay here or whatever. I had a bunch of meth or whatever. And my time in that little hotel ran up pretty quick. A couple days go by, the girl that was in that hotel room with the guy, she texts me and she's like, "I'm leaving him. Can I come live with you in your car?" So I moved this girl into my car with me after getting rid of the other 2 that were in the car with me. I was able to get rid of them, and then I got another girl in there with me that was like, whatever. She was just down for whatever. And I'd be at work, she'd be in my car tweaking out, fucking cleaning the car. And then that went on for months until I had a buddy call me in Melbourne, Florida, and he was like, "I need you to come and pick me up and take me back to Atlanta. I'll fund the whole trip." Well, that day that he said for me to come pick him up, I had to go cop from a guy before I left. It was payday, and I owed the plug that I was going to cop from like a bunch of money, and I was just trying to get some more for the road trip. And I was like, "I'll pay you back later." Well, long story short, I get a bunch of guns pulled on me. And they all got laser pointers on them, and they're all on my stomach, and I'm fucking crying like a baby. I'm just like, oh, whatever. I get all the guns put on me. They take my money. They take my drugs. Well, I never got the drug. They handed me a bag of salt, and I'm like, whatever. So I get up. I mean, I was able to get out of that situation. I called the guy, and I'm like, "I need you to fucking Walmart me some money so I can get to Florida." So he does that. We drive to Florida, and when I make it to Florida, I'm like, I look at her, and I'm like, "Why are we going back to Atlanta? This is so beautiful. Why don't we just stay here?" And we take him back to Atlanta. I got like $40. Trump is president at the time, so gas is like $1.20 something a fucking gallon. So I make it from Atlanta to Fort Pierce, Florida, where I ended up staying. I ended up staying in Fort Pierce. And then I went to my aunt's house. She's not really my aunt, but she's close enough to an aunt to where, And we lived there with me and her. And then her little brother fucking cut his ankle monitor off. And she was like, "We got to go get him." So I go up to Atlanta to get him. And we bring him back. On the way down through Florida, it's like 9:30 in the morning. I'm driving to go. I'm like almost to Florida. She's asleep in the front seat, and they have those little reflector things on the side of the road, and I'm hungry, so I start hitting the reflector things trying to wake her up. I didn't realize there was a cop behind me, and the cop pulls me over. I have a Four Loko between my legs, and I chuck it into the back seat. Cop was like, "You got a Four Loko in the back seat," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's from last night, whatever." So they get me out of the car. They made me do a field sobriety test. I aced the field sobriety test, and it's only like 9 o'clock in the morning. So the fucking cop was like, the original cop that pulled me over, after I aced the sobriety test with the walking and the pin and shit, he was just going to let me go. Well, the other cop that pulled up after him, he was like an elder cop. He was like a sergeant or something. He was like, "No, he's got a breathalyzer for it." And I blew like 3 times over the legal limit. Fucking, I go to jail. She doesn't have a license, but
Where was this? Was this in Georgia?
This is in Georgia on the way to Florida. I get arrested. They let her take the car even though she doesn't have a license. So I'm in jail thinking this bitch is gonna fucking wreck my car.
She's gone.
Yeah. Whatever. I get out of jail. We go back to Florida with her little delinquent brother that was on the run. I had a buddy that I went to Job Corps with that he lived in Homestead, Florida. Well, one night, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I'm drunk on brandy. He called me. He's like, yo, you should come hang out with me. I'm like, I'm on my fucking way. I'm drunk as a fucking skunk. And I drove from Fort Pierce to fucking Homestead in the middle of the night. I woke up the next morning. I walk out fucking side, and my bumper to my car is gone. And I walk back inside, and I'm like, what happened to the car? And they were like, dude, you came and you dropped her off, and you left. You went back out for something. It was like 3 in the morning. You're like, you left, but you came back with a car full of alcohol. And I'm like, oh, so somewhere along the line, I lost the fucking bumper to my car.
But you got alcohol.
I left and went and somehow got alcohol. I didn't have no fucking money. And it's the middle of the night. They're not selling alcohol no more, but I got a bunch of it. I was like, I'm going to share her with him, right? So we had like a little 3-way thing that happened. Some time goes by. He ends up getting kicked out of where he's staying at. I let him come and hang out with us at the house in Fort Pierce. Well, it's right after the fucking holidays. She's got kids back home, so she's missing her kids. That stimulus check hit, and I told him, I'm like, hey, dude, she's missing her kids. I'll fucking hook you up with some gas and some fucking and the battery and shit for your car if you take her up to Atlanta, get her, let her see her kids and bring her back, right? $400 should do it. So I give him that. I tell them to go fucking see your kids. Well, they go up, and they're still together to this day.
And you started it by sheer...
Yeah. And whatever, dude. And then that was like the first time I ever got my like heart broken. So it just sent me down the rabbit hole. Like as if my fucking drinking habit wasn't already bad. It wasn't just the fact that I had a drinking habit. She could drink just as much as I could drink. So while she was there, I'm paying. If I got a 4-pack of 211s, she gets a 4-pack of 211s. If I get a bottle of vodka, she gets a bottle of vodka. And it became very expensive. So what happened was the damn trash took itself out when she left. I ended up spending the same amount of money that I was spending with her after she left because I'm so fucking heartbroken. I'm at work running this damn landscaping crew, drinking every 2 hours. I had to have a drink every single 2 hours. I'd wake up in the morning at 5:30. I polish off a pint of vodka. I would at 10 o'clock. I'd go to the store, drink 2 Four Locos. Then I would drink a 4-pack of 211s at noon. 2 o'clock will come around. We drink another Four Loko. 4 o'clock will come, another Four Loko. Then I'd get off of work, and then it was just time to balls to the wall, going to different bars.
But you managed to have a job and pay bills being this much of an alcoholic.
It doesn't matter how long and how in active addiction I was, I always held down a job. I did not have a job. I'm very good at work. I'm a very good worker, even when I'm blacked out drunk.
Yes, I was a functional heroin cocaine user. I could get a lot of it done. I always had a job, unless I was locked out. But I was the same way, because if I'm not working, I can't get high.
Yeah,
I gotta work.
I gotta get up
because I gotta get high.
I mean, I was working 2 jobs and panhandling, and still not making it, all the way. I'm like not making enough money to survive. I'm not eating. I'm just drinking alcohol. When I hit rock bottom for that time, that rock bottom in Fort Pierce, I moved in with my uncle, and then my uncle was like, he's in recovery too. So, like, I'm sitting here in the morning so sick, hugging the toilet every morning. He's driving to the store to get me a 4-pack. He'll slide the 4-pack into the damn bathroom. I'll drink it, and then I'd be all right. And he was like, how long is this going to last? How long do you think that this is going to last for you? Well, they left for something. They left the house for some reason. And they had a bottle of wine in the fridge. That's the one thing they said, don't drink the bottle of wine. Well, what do you think I did? I drank the bottle of wine. And I go to pick up the phone to call him, to tell him, hey, man, I drank the bottle of wine. He walked in through the back door, and I'm like, hey, dude, I think I'm ready to go back to treatment. So I go back to treatment for my second time going to treatment. I went to this place called DAF, the Drug Abuse Foundation. I was there for 4 days before I ended up leaving. I AMA'd to go drink again. And then I got put on, I was on probation in 2 states. I was on probation in Florida and Georgia. I had to take random drug tests. So that wasn't really keeping me sober, but during that I had community service hours. So I was doing all my community service hours at an AA building where they run meetings and shit. I was sweeping and mopping floors and doing some landscaping around the clubhouse. I kind of was just taking up a chair in AA because every single time that my fucking color would pop up for me to go drug test that day, I would drink my ass off that night. And then I would just be freaking out for the next few days.
When I was on felony drug probation, I did the same thing. I'd go and take my test on like a Tuesday, and I know I got 28 days.
Yeah.
You know, the last 3 days I got to be clean. I can't have drugs in my system, but I know I can party like a motherfucker until, you know, the week before. Then I got to slow down, drink 2 gallons of water every day, and just take prescription pills. But I remember the lifestyle, and it seemed normal back then. I was proud of it. So I'm on fucking felony drug probation for drugs, and I'm beating the system. I'm so smart. Look at me, I'm awesome. That's really what I fucking thought back then, that I was like this genius, that I found every way to dip around the drug test, and it just, that tightrope got so exhausting walking on that long enough.
Well, with me was, when I was on probation, I'd call the number, and if my color would pop up, I'd know I could drink that day. But the problem with it is like it could be 2 more days and your color would pop up again. So it was always playing with a loaded gun whenever you're fucking drinking after you test. But it never stopped me. Dude, I fucking never violated that probation. I made it through both probations with help from family because I was so fucking still...
Couldn't pay it off.
So, Georgia calls me now, like, you owe us like $1,000. You have to be here on this date, or else we're gonna, just to check in. And I'm like, no, you're gonna send me to jail. So my family, thank God for them, they found a way to pay the probation for Georgia because I was paying Florida, but Georgia. So they found a way to make that $1,000-something bucks, and I didn't have to go to check in with them. So I get through with that. So I go back to treatment again, and I completed the program this time when I went. And I got out. I started doing the AA thing. I went to a halfway house. But when I say again, I've skipped like 10 treatment centers in between there that I went to, that I just went to.
Got an oil change. Went there.
Got an oil change.
A couple days.
Yeah.
Went back out.
So I got out of treatment again, where I finally took the suggestions that were given to me. I got out of a treatment center and I went to AA. And then that was when I met my first sponsor that took me through the steps, which is a fellow juggalo that you know. And he took me through the steps. But the problem with me going through the steps for the first time was I had took everything that was suggested except for the praying part and the waking up upon awakening, praying and talking to the higher power. I was still I was still driving the show. Mm-hmm. Even though I was sober, I was fucking driving the car, and it didn't last long until I accumulated almost 6 months, and then I went back out and drank. And since then, I have done this whole in and out thing where I'm like on fire for the fucking program, and then I'm back inside treatment. I'll drink for a day, go back to treatment. I'll drink for a day, go back to treatment. That whole a head full of AA and a belly full of booze don't mix. So that's me. I keep thinking that I miss the effects produced by alcohol because I have a problem with my mental, and my brain doesn't shut up. I have the spinning mind where I catastrophize every single thing that I fucking think about. I always draw up worse scenarios in my head, and it makes me want to go drink over it. I'm self-medicating with the alcohol, but really the only time that it does anything is the first drink. The first drink will fucking take the initial off, and then it's like fucking depressed. And then I'm like out in front of a racetrack crying on the phone with my sponsor and fucking y'all. I'm on the phone with y'all. I'm like, I just gotta go back to treatment.
The thing is, you know all the answers, and you just said it about you weren't praying and you went back out, and then you like the effects produced by drugs and alcohol, but you also know that it sets off that fucking chain reaction that'll one day lead you back to meth. Like, that hasn't happened, but it will if it continues. And when you're around, I've seen you on fire, and you know the book, and you know the way to live, and it's just, I do the same thing. You should see me in my normal life. I'm the biggest fucking drama queen that exists. Everything is the end of the fucking world. Anything that happens is the worst thing that ever happened. The only things I see in the future are catastrophes. Just like you were saying. I'm the same fucking way. But I don't know. I guess being through it longer, you start realizing, like, oh, I'm just fucking fucked up. I'm just a mess. I'm the crazy one. It's not the world. Bad things aren't going to happen. It's just me that's nuts. And I know I can't pick up a drink. I can't pick up a drug. Adderall would help me fucking, not be crazy. Klonopin would help me not be so anxious. But that sets off me fucking shooting up fentanyl and cocaine at John Prince Park and Palm Beach and having a seizure. So I can't take that first pill. I can't take that first anything. I mean, you're the same exact way, and you know it. This is the part that most people don't get. That this whole thing centers in my mind. This whole problem, my whole life, everything comes back to the things I did up here. And that my brain tells me if I just put a chemical in here, a drink, a drug, whatever, everything will be okay. And then it shuts off for that 1 second, then boom, I'm back in fucking jail and life is burned down. Like, you know the fucking way to do it. I've seen you do it before. All you gotta do is fucking just stay around.
Yeah. So my first sponsor, not my first sponsor, but the first one that ever actually took me through the steps, he was a juggalo. And he's now the vice president of Juggalos in Recovery. I got involved in it recently, and it's just every Sunday, you know what I'm saying? I go in there to the meeting, and it's just a bunch of people that are in recovery that fucking think the way I think, have the same issues that I have the same sick and twisted sense of humor. It's just a great time. And, if you go to places like The Gathering and you think about a juggalo, most people don't think about a sober individual. They think about someone that's on drugs, meth head, fucking crazy
most
motherfucker.
People, when they hear juggalo, that's what
they think of a junkie, right? Mm-hmm. So, which is fair, I was a fucking junkie. I am a junkie.
So was I. I'm okay.
I'm a junkie, but it's something so beautiful, and that we can band together and be strong together. And so it's like Frank from Juggalos in Recovery started it, and he fucking just knew that something beautiful was going to come out of it. And what it is just for people that don't think that they can even fit in meetings, or people that just don't, like antisocials, introverts, people that, they only feel comfortable in Juggalos in Recovery. I've seen, like, there's people that go to the meeting that don't like going to outside meetings because they're not juggalos. People that don't feel comfortable around normal people because they feel like they're being judged. They feel like they're not fitting in. So it's so beautiful that Juggalos in Recovery gives us a fucking lane to be in, to where it's just a bunch of juggalos that are trying to see each other get better, and they're rooting for each other. And
we're already all the outcasts as junkies and alcoholics, and then the Juggalos in Recovery are the outcasts of the outcasts.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing. I didn't know Juggalos existed. I didn't know Juggalos in Recovery existed. And it's an amazing thing. I've been in one of the meetings. I spoke. The people there are great. The fact that there is an other avenue for people to turn to get sober is like amazing. And Juggalos in Recovery at The Gathering, they have a tent there, and don't they have meetings all day long?
I'm gonna find out this year.
Well, I think Brian, my sponsor, the Juggalo, said that they run meetings all day long, and there's other people, sober people, hanging out with people at The Gathering while 95% is getting all fucked up. There's a good group of sober people.
Oh, if you're looking for it, it's there. I know that. If you want it, it's there. If you boof it, it's free. I know that.
All right, this is the thing with the juggalos and boofing. Come on, you want to explain to me why boofing is cool?
Because it has to do with buttholes, and buttholes are awesome.
See, this is why I'm not a juggalo. It's that right there. I don't understand the obsession with the fucking...
Bro, you want to go get a Fago right now? We'll do a Fago enema, man. I'll do it right here on the podcast.
A Fago enema?
I'll butt chug Fago in front of all these people.
This is where I draw the line. There's no boofing in my show. You finally did it. You found a topic that's off limits.
Boofing?
Yeah. All right.
How is that off limits?
It's just so weird.
Everybody's got a butthole, man. So... what you put up your butthole is your own. I'm not. Never mind.
Everybody has a butthole. It's a good commercial for the show. So one of the reasons why I do this is because I don't know if you're aware, but I have some mental issues.
Yes,
I'm a little off. I tried my whole life to be normal. I did everything. It's one of the reasons why I did so much drugs. I wanted to be a normal person. I can't. I'm not normal. It's okay. And you make me look normal, though. But for someone as crazy as us to be talking about sobriety and getting sober, the reason I do this is so maybe there's somebody out there who feels the same way, like in Juggalos in Recovery. They don't feel comfortable going to a meeting. They don't feel comfortable talking to somebody because they're fucked up in the head. And it's okay to be fucked up in the head. You got any advice for anybody as crazy as us out there when it comes to getting sober?
If you going into it with an open mind, if you taking if you're already crazy like me, and if you just so happen to have an open mind to anything like music or something like that, then you have to have an open mind to life. And if you have an open mind to life, there's nothing that will surprise you. So we won't be surprised when you come into these rooms and you hear about God and you hear about the higher power thing and you hear about how all these people are now living in their own skin and just happy. When you surround yourself in the rooms by the people that, when you show up, are the smiling, laughing, and the people that just seem too happy, those are the people you want to stick around because they have found something that makes them that way. That's not just fucking drugs and alcohol. It gives you a different way of looking at it. It's like a different pair of reading glasses. You see the world differently. Shit's kind of brighter. You know, you don't have to fucking have a substance in order to fucking feel something. You're feeling all your emotions, not just the bad ones. You're feeling all of it. And the highs are highs and the lows can be lows, but as long as you have each other to hold each other up, we'll make it through. You don't have to pick up a drink or a drug in order to fucking stop feeling as bad as you are. Life is going to happen and life's going to get lifey. But how are you going to fucking ride that wave? Are you going to fucking crash and burn on the fucking board? Or are you going to fucking ride it like the fuck to Valhalla? You know? Ride that fucking snake to Valhalla!